What I have for you tonight, I come with a nodding acquaintance of the cream of the crop of the wisdom of the ages. I have a storehouse of my own noggin filled to the brim with gems and jewels and pearls of wisdom selected from the greatest minds of recorded time. It took 50 years to accomplish this feat. Periodically in and out of jails, prisons, detoxification centers, and funny farms. So tonight I'm going to give you some of that. It's a message. It's eloquent and profound. Slack and sleeping senses must be addressed with thunder and heavenly fireworks. But the voice of beauty speaks gently and creeps only into the most awakened souls. Now there is a yoga of constant oneness, a communion which is ever one. But your mind is inconstant. In its restlessness you cannot find rest. Your mind is restless, impetuous, self-willed, hard to train. Why, to master your mind seems just as difficult as to master the mighty wind. By constantly practicing the quietude of your mind and freedom from passions, your mind in truth can be trained. Now when your mind is not in harmony and out of tune, this divine communion is very difficult, if not impossible, to attain. When your mind is in harmony and in tune, it can be attained if you know and if you strive. Now perhaps you may ask yourself, but if I strive and fail and reach not the heights of yoga, just what then shall befall me? Far from earth and far from heaven, wandering on the pathless wind, shall I vanish like a cloud into thin air, not having found the path of God. Fear not. You're on the road to freedom. Neither in this world nor the world to come shall you ever pass away. When you do the good, you never tread the path of death, but you shall dwell for innumerable years in heaven with those who did good. And then because you failed in yoga, you are born again in the house of the good and the great. And you begin your new life with the wisdom of a former life. You begin to strive again, ever onwards towards perfection. Your former yearning and struggle irresistibly carries you onwards. A confusing riddle, then seek nonetheless that your hearts may be broken and that your questionings may lead you on to the love and the wisdom of the Most High, whom we call God. If you are perplexed in your hearts, well then so what? Just remember that perplexity is the beginning of wisdom. You would rise in your imagination unto the heavens above, and you consider this a great height. And you would pass over the vast sea and claim it to be distance. But I say unto you, when you sow a seed in the earth, you reach a greater height. And when you hail the beauty of the morning to your neighbor, you cross a greater sea. Too often do you sing God the Infinite, yet you hear not the song. Would that you might listen to the songbirds and to the leaves that forsake the branch when the wind passes by. And forget not, my friends, that the leaves sing only when they are separated from the branch. Again I bid you to speak not so freely of God, who is your all, but speak. Would that you might find paths into your vast selves. Would that you might be less idle and tend your garden in your own backyard. My friends, it would be far wiser to speak less of God, whom we cannot understand, and more of each other, whom we may understand. Yet I would have you know, we are the breath and fragrance of God. We are God in leaf, in flower, and oftentimes in fruit. What do I want to speak to you about now?
Yeah.
I'm going to speak to you now of being.
Oh, put it closer.
Just what is it to be? To be is to be wise, though not a stranger to the foolish. It is to be strong, but not to the undoing of the weak.
Oh, yeah.
To play with young children, not as fathers and mothers, but rather as playmates who would learn their games. To to be simple and guileless with old men and women, and to sit with them in the shade of the ancient oak trees, though you are still walking with spring. To seek a poet, though he may live or she beyond the 7 rivers, and to be at peace in their presence, nothing wanting, nothing doubting, and with no question upon your lips. To know that the saint and the sinner are twin brothers, whose father is our gracious King, and that the one was born but the moment before the other. Therefore, regard him as the crown prince. To follow beauty, even when she shall lead you to the verge of the precipice, though she is winged and you are wingless, though she shall pass beyond the verge, follow her, for where beauty is not, there is nothing. To be a garden without walls, a vineyard without a guardian, and a treasure house forever open to the passers-by. To be robbed, cheated, deceived, or yes, misled, entrapped, and then mocked, yet with it all to look down from the height of your larger self and smile. Knowing that there is a spring that will come to your garden to dance in your leaves, and an autumn to ripen your grapes. Knowing that if one of your windows is open to the east, you shall never be empty. Knowing that all those condemned as robbers and cheaters and deceivers are your brothers and sisters in need, and that you are perchance all of these in the eyes. Now, to you also, whose hands fashion and find all things that are needful for the comfort of our days and our nights. To be is to be a weaver with seeing fingers, a builder who is mindful of light and space, to be a farmer and feel that you are hiding a treasure with every seed you sow, to be a fisherman and a hunter with a pity for the fish and the beast, yet a still greater pity for the hunger and the need of man and woman. My friends, be bold just as well as meek. Be spacious and not confined. And until my final hour and yours, be indeed your greater selves, your vast selves, your God selves. And now, not too long from now anyway, we shall part. You shall go your way and I shall go mine. And though vast seas and great distances of land may separate us, still we shall be together on our journey to the holy mountain. Before we go our separate ways, I would give to you of the gleaning and the wisdom of my heart. Tell a lovely truth in little words, but never an ugly truth in any words. Tell a young lady whose hair shines in the sun that she is the daughter of the morning. But if you shall behold the blind or the sightless, say not to them that they are one with night. Listen to the singers sing their song as you would listen to the birds singing. But if you should hear the critic and the fault finder speak, why, be just as deaf as your own bones and as distant as your vastest imagination. And I would have you remember this of me. Oh, I teach you not only silence, just as well a song that is not too loud, not yielding but understanding with a smile upon your lips. I teach your God selves, which contains this entire universe and every being in it. Amen, may it be so. That's the definition in Greek for amen, may it be so.